Hey, what's up, you guys? A common question here on the channel, that both in the comment section and also being emailed to me at FastInAHurry@gmail.com, is the question of, Steve, how do I get started in this process? How do I get started in an intermittent fasting protocol or regimen a different way? You know, what are the steps that you took, or what would you advise? And that's what I want to answer here in this video. I just want to cover real quickly some of where you can find information on the different fasting protocols, common mistakes to avoid, and how to find success overall with a fasting plan. Some of the other YouTube videos that I've watched about this issue tend to be deficient in two regards. They're either made by 20-year-olds who really don't understand, maybe like for someone like me who's 42, some of the challenges that I would face. And then the other issue is they tend to focus on just one protocol. So I want to give you kind of a broad perspective here on how you can have success with intermittent fasting, whichever protocol you choose. Okay, so the first, what I want to start out with is just to show you my fasting just for the last 10 days, to give you an idea that of what I have worked up to, and keep that in mind. I did not start out with these types of fasts, but like, just for example, just to show you that what you can work up to and where you can get. And even beyond this, you know, I just keep stretching things and learning as I go. But as you can see, this is my fasting for the last 10 days. And so you can see that on 7:30, I started a fast. Just keep in mind that all these dates are the night before. So I start the fast on the night before. And so you can see that on 7:30, I went 37 hours. From the fast that starts on August 1st, I actually fasted for 3 days and 4 nights. Yes, I went 85 hours there. From the fast that starts on August 5th, I basically, you know, broke my 85-hour fast, ate good, and started fasting again and went another 40 hours. And then on August 8th, I started at 8:30 p.m., fasted 2 full days, 3 nights, and broke the fast yesterday morning, and that was a 60-hour fast. And I ate yesterday, and I'm fasting again today. And who knows how far I'll go with that one. But that's just to kind of give you an overview of where I am now. I've been doing this fasting, primarily alternate day fasting, for about 6 months, and I have mixed it up the whole time and been adaptable. I did not start out doing these longer fasts. I built up to them as my body got used to them. So, first thing I have to say, if you're starting out on if you want to start out on a fasting regimen, set realistic goals. This is the most important thing. Set realistic goals. Don't say, well, I watched this video of this guy on YouTube and he's ripped to the core and he lost 30 pounds in a month and that's what I want to do. Or don't say, I want to fit back into my high school jeans even after I've destroyed my body for 40 years. That's my goal. Don't do that. Don't set yourself up there for like a failure. What I want you to do is try to set goals that you know you can achieve, that are going to be challenging, but not so challenging that they're out of reach for you. Okay? So like, if you want to lose 2 pounds a week, that's a good goal. You know, you want to drop a dress size. You want to stop eating so much junk. Sort of reset your appetite so that you're not, if you feel out of control with your eating and you know that fasting is going to help you get control of it again, that's a good goal. If you want to kickstart your body, you want to start doing ketogenic or paleo or Mediterranean diet or something like that, and you just want to move into a new diet and you want to jumpstart your weight loss and the change with some fasting, that's a good goal. You know, if you're worried that Kim Jong-un is going to nuke you in your sleep, and you're worried about the carbon footprint you might leave when you're burned to a crisp, or you just want to leave a thinner corpse, that's a goal. I don't know if it's a good goal. It's kind of like, you know, I have a dark sense of humor. I apologize, y'all. But you know, so realistic goals that you can get to. That's the first thing you want to do. When I started out, my goal, I was 313 pounds, and the goal that I set was to get to 250 pounds or a size 38 waist. So I kind of had a two for going. Well, guess what? I met the first one. The second one still exists. I have not got there yet. I have not got to a 38. So that's sort of like what I aimed at. I had high blood pressure. I couldn't exercise. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't bend over and tie my shoes without coming up for air. So that was the goals that I set, and I thought, you know what, I can probably achieve that. I didn't know that I would achieve the first one so quickly. I didn't know that I would lose weight the way I did, but it was realistic to me. It was something I could achieve, and so that's the first thing you need to do. Very important. The second thing, and hopefully this video will help you, do your research. It's your body. It's your responsibility. It's not your doctor's responsibility. It's not my responsibility. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a dietitian. I'm just a fat guy. So you need to do your own research. I'll put a link in the description to show this terrific article that sort of breaks down all the fasting protocols. When you get into this and you're like, what's lean gains? What's the warrior diet? What do people mean when they say 5-2? What do people mean when they say they're eating in a 16-8 window? What does it mean, these differences in alternate day fasting? What is this? This will be a good starting point, a springboard for you to find more information and do your own research. Some books that I have read and would recommend is things like The Fast Diet by Dr. Michael Mosley, The Every Other Day Diet by Dr. Krista Varady. The Complete Guide to Fasting is one that I've heard good things about. I haven't read it yet, but that's by Jimmy Moore and Dr. Jason Fung. If you wonder why you're fat and bloated and why everyone around you is in the same boat, read The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung. It will give you a good scientific sort of background in terms of why fasting can help correct, and first of all, what our problem is and how fasting can help correct the issue. Just research things, and because you find out all kinds of things. There's all kinds of protocols, and you need to research those protocols first. Because as you have your goal in mind, you research the protocol and you find out what works for you and what you want to start with. So, in addition to that and getting information, there's forums on Reddit, there's social media on things like Facebook, there's groups for like fasting to lose weight, there's groups for alternate day fasting and all the protocols. So you can get the information and try to get it from reputable sources. YouTube is part of the reason I started this channel. Is I didn't think YouTube had the best information out there. I found a lot of information, but I found that I was having to really weed through a lot of crap in terms of like that. A lot of the information seemed very unprofessional to me. I'll just put it to you that way. And I wanted to do something that was a little different, to show it from an old fart's perspective. One of the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to lose weight is they think they can just go back and do what they did in high school. And in fact, a lot of the people who comment on my channel, and a lot of people who resist the idea of fasting and or alternative ways of losing weight are in their 20s. Okay, so a lot of the people that are making these videos on YouTube are in their 20s or early 30s. And they really have no frickin' clue or concept what it's like to live in a middle-aged body that you've ruined and destroyed and abused for years and years, and trying to get it back and trying to walk on a new course. So that's part of why I made this channel here, and I hope it helps you to have an old fart's opinion. This is basically a testimonial thing, So you have to watch out where you get your information and try to find the information that helps you. Another thing, this is the third thing. After you've set goals, realistic goals, and you've done your research, the third thing you need to do is know thyself. Know yourself. Know what your limits are. Give thought to the timing of when you start your fast. If women, do not start your fast on your period. If you guys have a lot of stressful things and events going on in your life, it's not a good time to fast. Don't throw fasting and really all this dynamic changes into your life while you're having a stressful period in your life. It won't help you. It's like setting yourself up to fail. So think about the timing. Give thought to this process of when you're going to start, and don't start if you have significant stressors. If you have, for example, if you have a huge social life and you go to a lot of business lunches and you go to a lot of family gatherings and things like that, you need to give thought to your fasting protocol and when you're going to fast. That's something else you need to consider. Your lifestyle. If you're a person who cannot stand any discomfort, there's people like that. That's why they have those little charts that go from a smiley face at the doctor's office. It goes from a smiley face to like a grumpy, frowny face. to show pain on a scale. If you're one of those people that has a headache and you show yourself as a 10, fasting may be a tough thing for you. In fact, you know, it's not to say that you shouldn't do it, because I really believe you can build up your willpower and discipline. But you need to consider that. You know, if you've never successfully gone 8 hours without food, you're not going to want to try a 7-day fast. Okay, I'll just throw it out to you that way, because you are going to encounter some discomfort. You're going to have some challenges that you have to meet and be realistic about, and plan for. And so that leads me into the fourth thing. You know, you've set realistic goals, you've done your research, you know yourself, your limits, your lifestyle, your limitations. Then you need to make your plan. Okay, so that's where you settle on, okay, I know I want to either, maybe you just want to short-term lose weight, okay? You just want to drop a bunch of weight in the short term, and you know you're just an out-of-control glutton, and you're just going to go back to the way you were. You can do that. It's not advisable. You can do that. So you settle on doing let's say a 14-day fast, and you're familiar with fasting. You've done fasting before, and that's what you're going to do just to drop some pounds quick. Okay? You make your plan. You do it. You figure out, how am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? How am I going to face the challenges I have? You know, maybe you're a little, you have more of a long view, such as yours truly. You have more of a long view. You want to make permanent changes to your life. You want to make permanent changes to your lifestyle, and you know you don't want to go back to the way things were. It was just too much and too destructive. Then, you know, you plan a different way. Then you say, I'm going to do intermittent fasting. And let me tell you this, as you're making your plan, start small. Especially if you're not familiar with fasting, start small. Say, I'm going to go 16 hours without food, and then I'm going to eat for 8 hours, and then I'm going to fast again. Start small in the beginning. Or I'm going to fast for, you know, 1 day and just see how I feel, or maybe 2 days a week and see how I feel. Acclimate your body into the process as you do this. You know, you have to think about your meal planning. As you're planning in the planning process, think about what you're going to eat. You know, what sorts of foods you're going to eat. You don't have to follow any particular diet, but one thing that will help you is if you try to eat low carb, especially if you're new to fasting, you've never fasted before, and you're just now getting into this process. Try to go low carb, and do it even before you start to fast. Just go a couple days where you just kind of eat low carb. You eat good lean protein. You can eat fats, healthy fats, and you know, vegetables, just to kind of get your system, your body ready for that switch to fat burning, which is what you want to do, which is what you're after when you fast. And it will help you even if you do that for the first week, which is challenging. The first week to 10 days are challenging on any sort of switcheroo that you do in your eating pattern or fasting or whatever you do. Exercise, you guys know, you've had the sore muscles. So whatever you do, try to make the transition easier on yourself. One way you can do that is cut out sugar and carbs for that first week. So, you know, make your plan and think about how you're going to address the challenges. What are you going to do when you're tempted to hit that refrigerator? You know, what things can you change in your environment? How can you stay busy? How can you exercise? And these are all things that you'll have to deal with in your planning process before you start. You know, and then the last thing I have to say as you're doing this is measure and monitor your own progress. You know, one of the mistakes that I made when I started out is I did not weigh myself at the beginning. I didn't measure my waist. I didn't give myself the tools I needed to sort of monitor my progress, at least at the beginning. I was 2 weeks in. I was a month into this thing before I even bought a scale, really. But the reason you need to know that is because you have to reassess, you know, in time, each month, reassess your goals, go back through the process all over again. The 5 things that I've described: set realistic goals, do your research, know yourself, because you'll discover things about yourself as you're fasting. Make a plan and reassess, monitor and reassess and adjust as necessary. And this is why you need to do this process, because you're going to, as your body acclimates to fasting, you might say, I'm used to this now. It's easy peasy. I just want to kick it up a notch. And you might find yourself just continually wanting to amp it up. And that's how I got to the fasts that I showed you at the start of this video. I just kept expanding what I was able to do. I started small and I kept expanding what I was able to do. And I have some practical advice for how to make fasting easier. I'll link to that video below, 8 ways to make fasting easier. And so just remember to hydrate, try to eat clean at first, at least at the start. Another piece of advice that I would give to newbies, especially if you have a lot to lose. In other words, if you're 50 pounds overweight, 100 pounds overweight, do not worry about calories. That was a mistake that I made. I sort of tracked it for my first couple weeks. You really don't need to worry about calories. You will lose weight. Trust me on this. Just trust me on this. You'll lose weight. And just focus on the protocol, focus on listening to your body, and don't worry about calories at the outset. If you ever get to a point where you plateau, then worry about calories. Then worry about, you know, how much you're eating. Now, the only exception, obviously, is on your fast days. If you eat the 500-calorie meal, if you're eating a low-calorie meal on your fast days, obviously you need to watch the calories there. You know, so I'd recommend a tracking program like MyFitnessPal, the app that's available both for iPhone and Android. That's a great way to sort of track your calories on your fast days. One other consideration, if you work a really physical or demanding job, your first fast day, the first time you try this, you should probably try to do it on a day off, you know, just so you have, you're not out there feeling the effects of fasting at the outset. So the great thing about fasting, it's totally flexible. There's many protocols you can follow and modify as you go. You don't have to eat special foods. You can flip, you know, a lot of people pair intermittent fasting with a ketogenic diet or something like that. I don't do that because I know I couldn't sustain it. I know I couldn't do it forever. You don't have to count calories, and you know, so it's flexible, it's adaptable, it will work with you and your lifestyle. Your body will thank you. So do your research, talk to your doctor, follow these 5 steps I've given you, and that will help you to research and figure out what you want to do and what's going to work best for you. Your body will thank you. So if you guys, if you found this video helpful, please share it. Please spread the word. Trying to get you know, this information out there, and it's not information that probably big pharma and big food and a lot of corporations want you to hear, because you don't have to spend any money to do the things I'm talking about and to make yourself healthier and to get your body under control, your appetites under control. And so it's not profitable for corporations, what I'm telling you. So spread the word, share with your family, share with your friends. If you know people that are struggling with their weight and maybe haven't heard of this option, this idea of fasting for weight loss, you know, spread it around, y'all. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we fast. Have a good one.